So, jump onto these little beams on the side of this wall, and you can find a couple of pigeons. And those are pretty cute. Now, just carefully strafe your way onto this beam, and to walk off, you just kind of want to walk off the edge, and the game will sort of automatically push you down. If you do that correctly, then you'll fall right through this rooftop, and you will reach the final star of the game. Now, it is time to go after a couple of Easter eggs. Yes, of course, there are Easter eggs on the tower, and they can be a little bit difficult to locate. The way we're going to do this is that we're going to start with the top floor and sort of work our way down. And this might require a couple of tries. I will not lie, I've had some difficulty doing this one because it's basically all a giant parkour puzzle, and the way you land on top of these roofs is pretty tricky because if you land improperly, then you are just going to get you're going to slide off, essentially, because the surface areas of these rooftops, depending on where you land, will sort of control how you jump, how you, like... Nah. Yeah. If I couldn't explain this well enough, basically slopes. Slopes are terrible. If you land on top of a slope, you will go careening off the edge, and you will have to do that all over again. But you could just, like, hold down X to reset the puzzle, basically, and then you could try as many times as you like, but it doesn't change the fact that it's very tedious. Now, there's a QR code down there, and as for what it says, it's an entire glitched mess, okay? So I'm just gonna display it on the video right now, and to the person who wrote this down, you are truly terrible. Now then, we are going all the way over here this time, to the opposite side of this roof, and this is probably where the occurrence of any possible error is definitely the most plausible. Because you have to jump down onto that roof, and it, again, like many other rooftops of this area, it has a bit of an odd slope attached to it, so if you land incorrectly, you're just gonna go careening off the edge. Thankfully, that didn't happen this time, unlike all the other tests that I did where it did happen to occur and I just had to reset everything and blah blah blah. It makes me angry having to do these things a million times, as you can no doubt tell. But if you have made a couple of fancy jumps, and you successfully reached this area, turn around and you can see a poster for the next game by Core Team, which is The Return of Serious Sam's Son Encounter 7. And, you know, that's pretty great. That's actually artwork for, I believe, Serious Sam 4. I don't know when that game is coming out, but as far as I know, it's in development currently. In fact, basically, the Talos Principle, it's funny to point this out, if you watch the developer commentary of this game, you can actually learn that the Talos Principle was basically spawned from a puzzle that was being built for Serious Sam 4. And that's no joke. To my memory, as far as I can tell, this game was just constructed entirely out of a puzzle that they were building for Serious Sam 4, which I believe involved the jammer, actually. So it's an interesting bit of trivia right there, and I'm glad this game exists. Like, I am really, really glad this game exists, because I still think it is quite terrific. But I will save my constant sputtering of how much I love this game for the end of it, basically. For now, we are returning to floor 3 because there is another Easter egg which we can collect right about down here-ish, and again, it's kind of tricky. If you overextend, then you're just gonna fall off, like many other places where you could fall off this tower. So if you jump down to this rooftop, then you could see this sort of balance beam, this structure. What am I even gonna call this? I'm not very good with terminology on how structures work, but I guess this beam, this support. It's a support beam, yeah. I'm gonna go with support beam. You want to quickly jump over to it. If you do this right, just carefully peek around this corner, you can find a smiley face. As for what this reference is, I am entirely unfamiliar with this, by the way, so I'm just gonna read what I said on this note, and I wrote, this is a reference to The Mentalist, of a character in The Mentalist, at least. And that is some sort of crime show, I guess, crime investigation? I don't know. I'm not familiar with it at all, so I apologize. But I am just not culturally educated with television shows and other things like that, because that's just the person who I am. I'm not really much of a TV kind of person. I'm not really much of a reader. I just like to play video games. And having played video games for now, I think this is a good time to end off the video. Actually, I should also go ahead and explain something real quick. You saw that there is technically a 6th floor which we can access, and it's down there. Now, the 6th floor is part of a third ending. There are as I said, there are 3 endings to this game. There's one where you climb the tower, there's one where you just enter the gates of eternity, and there's one where you go to the 6th floor, which is down there. We do not have the code for floor 6, and the only way you can get it is by completing the Star Worlds, which we still have to do. So before we even end the game off in 3 different separate ways, we have to go after all the stars. So, having collected all 30 of them, it is now time to unlock all of these Star Worlds, which we are going to do in the next set of videos. But this was Ascending the Tower, and thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great day or evening, and I guess I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.